Thanks for tuning into this broadcast. It's rare that in these COVID times we get a performance for the quarter gone by, which is impressive, and the commentary about business and sentiment being positive and upbeat as well. Well, Escorts did that. The numbers for quarter four were pretty robust, as all of you know by now. Sales higher than estimated, EBITDA numbers higher than estimated, margins better than estimated, profit number higher than estimated, and the commentary pretty impressive as well. Let's talk about that from the man himself, Bharat Madan Johnson, right now with his thoughts. Mr. Madan, good having you. Thanks for joining in. Neeraj here. Good morning.
Morning.
Just start off with what's going right, because I think it's not just the quarter for performance, but what you said in the con call about how this quarter is shaping up and how the quarters ahead could shape up, which has impressed the street as well.
And I think as we mentioned in the call also yesterday, so we expect, I think there's a lot of pent-up demand now. This was in the peak of the season actually when this lockdown happened. So we think the industry as a whole in the last 40-45 days has actually lost close to 70,000-80,000 tractors in volume. So when the markets are now opening up and the farmers are coming back to the showrooms, so we see good pent-up demand now. So whatever the volumes have been lost, we think 50-60% of the demand actually will come back. So that's why we are quite bullish on the numbers from June to October, which is the oncoming festive season. So we think this period actually will see good demand. So normally the sowing season actually starts and by mid of July or by 10th of July the season is over. But this time because of this entire lockdown period, we think the season may slightly get extended to maybe end of July or maybe continue to some part of August. So we'll see good demand actually coming up in the next 2 months of June and July for the farmers.
Just a follow-up, Mr. Madan. One would have thought that because one, the sentiment, and two, income disruption has been so stark that people might not have the monies or the thought process to carry out their discretionary or maybe even important purchases like tractors. You saying that the farmer income scenario has not been as bad as the urban income scenario, is it?
Yeah, so if you look at the entire rural belt, I think almost 50% of India actually is not impacted. So actually you don't see really much impact of the sentiments that they will not really buy the tractors. Because they got actually record crop, record harvesting. The government is doing extensive buying through Food Corporation of India. So mandis are opening up and the farmers have now money availability. In fact, we even talk to various banks in the industry where they say the farmers have the money and they're coming to the branches to pay their EMI, but it's the bank and NBFC branches which are closed. So it's not the other way around. The farmers are not actually paying the money. So we think this is a positive sign. I think the farmers have money and the people who need to actually buy tractors and use it for the sowing and harvesting activity, they will actually go through the purchases. And one of the issue which is coming up in the labor migration. So actually labor migration is what actually is in a way helping us at this point in time, but the village don't have enough labor right now and they're still maybe stuck somewhere in the lockdown or in the process of coming back to villages. So in this time actually they need equipment to do the sowing. So they can't do it on their own. So this is actually in a way helping the farm equipment industry actually. So we'll see actually good demand coming up in the next few months because of these reasons.
Okay, what could be the hampering to this demand? I guess that financing is not an issue. Would your ability to supply be an issue, or you reckon that you will actually make the best of this uptake, both from a demand that is coming in, therefore your distribution being there, and to the supply, which is your vendors and your production facilities being able to cope up with that?
So yes, you said like rightly. So supply could be one issue which we need to tackle. So but as now we are sitting on good inventory within channel and us. There's about 45 to 60 days inventory available with them. So we think the next at least 2 months demand can be met from that. So we'll not need any retail sale as such. Yes, that would mean there is a dealers going stocking out on the product, any products, and same thing may happen to the company. We have got permission now from the local administration to start all our plants and field work, but today we are operating only at about 20% capacity. So I think as we move forward, we expect in June we should be able to hit 50% utilization levels there, and maybe by July we should actually reach to the normal position. But today we've been given permission to operate with 75% workforce. So obviously maintaining the social distancing and all the norms that are prescribed by the government, so that will have some impact, so we will not be able to operate in full efficiency. And also since there are multiple suppliers, you need to source this component from this pan India, and some of them will still be stuck in their red zones and some will orange, some will green. So that is going to be a challenge, I think, in going forward too, so for some time. So that's something which needs to be managed through very dynamic planning in terms of classifying which supply can fall under the bid zone. So that the transaction inventory taken from the supplier as well in time. So yes, some challenges are there. So I'm not saying it will be smooth or flow. So if demand comes, so demand side we don't see issue. Supply side can become an issue, which is something which should have been tackled with a bit of planning and good coordination with the supplier.
You reckon that this is a tailwind for the industry as well, and would you be able to outperform? I'm sure companies are not looking to outperform or underperform in the current times. I'm just trying to think about what could it mean from an Escorts minority shareholder perspective currently, Mr. Madan.
So like we mentioned, so it's not about how we'll be performing in the industry. It's not a question of how much market share I can gain, but it's really more than just survival in this entire period. So the focus will be on cost management and remaining liquid. So we should have sufficient liquidity available all through the time. So these two will remain the focus areas for us. And obviously cost will mean that we can actually improve profitability even in a scenario where the volumes may get impacted slightly due to this situation. So these two will be focus area, and we think the margin trajectory has been good. Even in last quarter, we've seen a good record margin coming up in the company. And had it been a normal quarter, obviously we have seen a record performance both on the volume front as well as in the margin front. But having said that, the margin situation should actually improve whenever the operations come back to normal. So we don't expect a downside for that. So the shareholder should be happy with that situation in the company.
Sorry, I missed that. Are you saying that you would actually better the margins from the current 13% levels?
Yeah, so the margin will actually further can improve because there's a lot of focus now going on the cost side. So in terms of cutting down the fixed costs and how we can actually improve further on these. And whenever the operations do come back to normal, so in the normal situation, the margin actually will be better than what we had delivered in the last year.
Okay, one final question, Mr. Madan. With the rates having moved the way they have and the RBI's constant focus on bringing down the rates, is that a tailwind as well? Are you getting any kind of updates on that, whether that is actually helping sales or could help sales give a better boost?
This is the interest rate?
Yes, please.
Really, so I think on the rural side, especially since you look at this state, almost 50-60% volume gets financed through the NBFC space, and where the rate charged in any case much higher than in the public sector and other banks. So I don't think the rate cut really has a significant impact on the demand side, really for tractors. So 100-200 basis points where there is going to make a major difference on the demand aspect. So we don't see that's going to be significant impact on the tractor demand side.
Okay, Mr. Madan, we'll leave it at that. Thank you so much for taking the time out and speaking to us at BloombergQuint.
Thanks, David.
Viewers, thanks for tuning in to this broadcast.